Hello and welcome, all friends and devotees of yoga and Buddhist meditation, yoga and Buddhism. Today is June the 18th, Tuesday, June the 18th, 2019. Tuesday, June the 18th, 2019. And I'm just going to continue reading from the wisdom resource, or wisdom, what I call the oracle of Venerable Master Singyung, who is arguably, not to me, I mean, to me, it's definitely, but I just said arguably because there are other Buddhist giants, but he is the greatest Buddhist in the world today. Okay, it's arguable because there are others like Dalai Lama and others, but as far as I'm concerned, he is the greatest. So Master Singyung started the Fo Guangshan Foundation, and he's done tremendously well. They've been all over the world building. Again, there are different aspects of Buddhism. So, but Master Singyung has really represented the Buddha in a very grand style, grander than any other personality could ever in the world. I mean, he brought Buddhism to Africa through the Nanhua Foundation. Nanhua, huge temple, giant work that they did in South Africa. Then in Taiwan, I mean, some mighty ones. In the United States here, the biggest in North America. Philippines, I mean, talk about it. Master Singyung has done so well. Australia. So, I mean, he's really done great, tremendously great work in humanistic Buddhism. They're trying to get folks all over the world to really advance their learning of the Buddha through the discipline of education. So you have to be educated. You have to go to school to learn, to know, okay, to improve yourself. Education is for self-improvement. Information for self-improvement. The discipline of receiving this education. You go to school, you learn information in school, right? In school, a professor, a teacher passes information to a student. You acquire information and you use that information for what? Self-improvement. For the advancement of human learning and progress. Okay? So Master Singyung is one of the greatest personalities in this realm. I mean, the Dalai Lama is a great Buddha, Master Singyung, Master Cheng Gyeng, and Master Ching Kong. These are the four Buddhas that I really honor greatly who have lived in our time. All of them are still alive. Master Singyung, Master Ching Kong, the Dalai Lama, Master Cheng Gyeng. But of all of them, Master Singyung, I think, has towered way above. I mean, he's done tremendously well. He's built universities everywhere. He's temples everywhere. Monks and nuns. He's developed, geared people into education. You know, got a lot of monks and nuns studying so well to get their doctorates. I mean, Master Singyung's done so much. You know, really try to motivate. And that's what my course is. When you come to this class, this is not just a class to pick up information, it's also motivational. Because, see, information is motivational. Wisdom information is motivational. Any person who comes to my class to listen to my lectures will be motivated by them. So this is a kind of motivational class because you come to my lecture to listen to wisdom. When you hear wisdom, you are moved by wisdom. And to be motivated is a very positive thing because when you are motivated, you develop what is called zeal and enthusiasm, charisma. When these qualities are already in your spirit, it moves you even forward. This helps you to reduce the waste of time and achieve your objectives faster. So, wisdom is very important because it is motivational. It helps you to push towards your goal. You know, we human beings, we set goals in life, right? Every New Year resolution, we have goals and objectives. But sometimes we just lapse. And then there is no motivation, there is no more push, you know, and then we just fall back. You know, until maybe the beginning of next year again, to start another New Year resolution again and make some push or something happens, and then oh yes, we should be, well, don't worry, we'll get there, and then again the lapse. So this is very important. That's why when you cultivate and develop wisdom, you'll be able to stay on track. Stay on track and walk diligently and steadily towards your goals in life. You have to set goals. You have to have goals. You have to have objectives. To be a successful person in this world, you must be able to set your goals and be able to achieve them. That is success. Success is the ability to just set goals and achieve them. If you can't set goals, you can't be successful. You have to be able to set goals and you have to be able to achieve your goals to be successful. Okay? So I'm going to push straight to the next point of wisdom, which is Master Singyung's, what I call the oracle from Master Singyung. In practicing Buddhism, we first need to learn how to live in the world. But before we can truly know how to face the world, we need to learn how to handle difficult people and situations. Difficult people and situations. The ancients were patient and diligent in their teaching or in teaching their students. They used all kinds of skillful means with no intention of giving up on anyone. Throughout history, bodhisattvas have responded to requests for help from everywhere, acting as a ferry to transport people across the ocean of suffering. Because that's what the Buddha did. The Buddha came to try to give great wisdom. The Buddha came and gave a huge resource to humankind so that humanity will be able to overcome the terrible problem of suffering. Okay? Life is full of suffering, he warns. So if you follow the Buddha's instructions, you will be able to overcome suffering as he did. Okay? This is why we are Buddhists, because we're trying to follow the Buddha's instructions and walk with wisdom and overcome suffering as the Buddha did. This is the goal of life. Nobody wants to be suffering here. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable, suffering. Right? We want to overcome suffering. We want to be happy and live happy lives, peaceful lives, successful lives, okay, wealthy lives. Anything that is contrary to suffering. That's the life we want to live. So you have to be some kind of Buddhist to do that. The Buddha gives a lot of resources to overcome suffering. So, nor do they give up on any sentient being either. Okay. Throughout history, bodhisattvas have responded to requests for help from everywhere, acting as a ferry to transport people across the ocean of suffering. Nor do they give up on any sentient being either. We should learn from the resolve of the wise and virtuous by being able to undertake what is difficult and tolerate what is hard to bear. We need to accomplish what we perceive as difficult and get along with people we perceive as troublesome. The following are some guidelines on how to handle difficult people. Okay, so Master Singyung is going to give you some secrets of how to deal with difficulties and adversaries, people who are difficult or stubborn or something. Okay, this is why I go to school. This is why I get information. Technology, the technology of wisdom. Wisdom has a lot of technology. You have to learn them. That's why you are here. So if you come to my course, come to my school and take my course, of course, you will find the techniques of dealing with all these things without necessarily being drowned by the problems of life. You should be able to overcome, sail through successfully the problems of life, right? Solve the problems of life. So the first golden key, I call them golden keys because these are treasures that Master Singyung is giving out to all of us. Okay, anybody who sits in this class with a pen and a paper, you follow my instructions, you write down points of wisdom, of course, you will discover that these are treasures. You just apply them to your life, it will smoothen things out for you. Okay? Inspire deceitful people with sincerity. In today's society, there are many people who cheat and deceive. Many people who cheat and deceive. They are crafty and fraudulent, making use of people's greed or sympathy to make a profit. There are also cult leaders who employ mystic powers or ideas as a way of cheating people out of their savings. All kinds of crafty, crooked people. Okay? Many marketers offer misleading advertisements or dazzling gimmicks as a way to sell their products. If we come across people like these, we naturally should not allow them to deceive us. Instead, we must educate and inspire them with our sincerity and honesty. 2, the second golden key, influence bad-tempered people with gentleness. Gentleness. Influence bad-tempered people with gentleness. It's not easy, but you can do it. That's why you're in this class. You have to learn the discipline of tolerance, gentleness. It will carry you through to success, the success that you wish to achieve in life. So, when faced with people who are violent and bad-tempered, we cannot be like them by trying to overcome violence with violence. It just doesn't work. This will only tend to make matters much worse. Therefore, when they get angry, we must be even calmer and gentler in order to influence them with equanimity. We have to help them subdue their angry and violent tendencies. It's our responsibility. The third golden key, urge deviant people to improve with loyalty and righteousness. Urge deviant people to improve with loyalty and righteousness. They are inevitably unwholesome people full of deviant views who show no integrity towards others or loyalty towards country. When they speak to others, all they express are immoral and devious views. Terrible. We must urge them to change their ways. Change their ways with our own integrity and impress them with our righteousness. They may eventually appreciate our right views and thinking, as well as our sense of loyalty and ethics. Thus, they may end up sharing our way and follow the right path. The fourth golden key from our most venerable Grandmaster Singyung. 4, guide stubborn people with tolerance. I told you earlier on, tolerance. That was the word I mentioned. So, patience, tolerance. Patience, tolerance. Okay? Okay? Always remember, you can call it the pet word. Okay, this was how I memorized it in those days when I had to memorize secrets of how to be successful, right? Pet, P-E-T is pet. Your pets, people keep pets, all kinds of beautiful colored birds. Have you seen birds in people's homes? I love birds, that's what I told you. People in America where I live here, people keep dogs and cats. People have all kinds of pets. So you know about pets, right? Dogs, very common. You have in Nigeria, you have a lot of dogs in the cities. Dogs and cats, people keep them, right? They're domesticated. These are pets, dogs, cats. Pets, P-E-T, pet, dogs, cats. Well, I love dogs and cats, but not as much as birds. I love multicolored birds, parrots and birds, beautiful birds. I love birds, okay? I don't have them here for you to look at next time, right? Well, probably one of my next videos, not this batch, because I have not acquired birds yet. But I will acquire birds later on. At a much later point, I'll have birds. Right now, I've not really taken great interest in pets. In pets. You can see sports going on behind me. You can see basketball is going on behind me. Because that's sports. I use that in activating myself. You know, that's my exercise. That's my sports. Sports goes on. Look, if you look very carefully at the screen behind me, you see basketball going on 24 hours of the day there. That's sports. That's my activity. That's my exercise. So you have to exercise yourself. Sports is important. I delight in basketball, of course, because I met a very great Nigerian basketball player, Hakim Olajuwon, in Texas. When I was in Houston, I spent 10 years in Houston. And I met Hakim. He's worth $200 million. He's the wealthiest Nigerian sportsman I know of. $200 million. I met him, very humble, nice guy. Bigger than me, of course. Much taller than me. And he used to tell me, he used to drive me around Houston, Texas in his Mercedes-Benz Jeep. And we'll be discussing, and he'll be telling me how he, plays, how he used to dribble them, the basketball, how he does body movement and all kinds of things. Hakim was a very nice guy. I met him and I really liked him in Houston, Texas. It's Hakeem Olajuwon, the big man. Okay, so I love basketball, period, because of Hakeem Olajuwon, who I met in Houston, Texas. Before I met Hakeem in Texas, over a decade ago, it used to be football, the one we play in Nigeria. After I met Hakeem, it became basketball. And Hakeem played football in Nigeria. He was a football star before he came to the United States to go to the University of Houston. He played football in Lagos. He was a giant. He played for national. He's been a star. You know, stars are always stars, like Tiger Woods, all these guys. They always stars. Stars are always stars from the beginning, right? So Hakeem Olajuwon's been a great sportsman from the beginning. He came to the United States and his sportsmanship from Nigeria just exploded into millions of dollars. And he led Houston Rockets to national basketball championship in the United States for the first time in history of Houston, Texas. 1994 and 1995, back-to-back championship. He was named the best. He was not named. He was the best basketball player in the whole world, 1994 and 1995. Before Michael Jordan came and snatched it in 1996 for the Chicago Bulls. So Hakeem is very great, very, very great. And I was very fortunate to have met him in Houston, Texas. And since then, you can see what's going on behind me is basketball. That's my sport. Okay, so I'm going to conclude quickly Master Singyung's treasures given to us. Okay, we have to be active, people. I think that's what I'm saying. If you've got my point, smart guys, you get my point. You wake up in the day, you should be active. Look at what's going on behind me. It's active. That's active. You know, see somebody running right on that screen? See people running? You have to be active. You can't be dead, and so you can't succeed as a dead log. You are a business person. You wake up into activity. You sprint into activity. Sports is the key to success in any business you are doing in the world. I don't care what it is. That's why I see it going on right. Any day you see me, you're going to see it going on there. Sports is success in business. You have to be active. What kind of business do you do? Dead, lazy, idle. Okay, so I'm very active. I'm giving this lecture. Once I finish this lecture, I go back into my sports. I do a lot of exercise. I exercise a lot in the daytime. Okay, so sports is golden. It's a treasure. You have to start your business from sports. The love of sports, the practice of sports. You have to practice. You have to actually be a sports person. Then you activate that into your business. Of course, you succeed. You should live an active life, fluid life, not a dead life, right? So that's what Master Singyung is. These are his treasures. Master Singyung was a very active Buddha, of course, building all these things all over the world, getting people all over the world, organizing organizations for Guangshan, getting people all over the world, building institutions, passing education to people, of course. Has to be very active to do that. Just like Pope John Paul. Remember the St. John Paul of the Catholic Church? Master Singyung met St. John Paul in the Vatican. The picture of that meeting is in the University of the West. Master Singyung's, he established that university. I've been there and I've seen that picture of Master Singyung and Pope St. John Paul. It's right in front of that school. As soon as you're entering the first administrative building, you see the picture of Master Singyung and Pope John Paul. In that beautiful university in Rosemead, California. Okay, I've been there. So the last point, the fourth one, golden key from the great Master Singyung, is guide stubborn people with tolerance. That tolerance was why I brought the point of PET, P-E-T. Memorize it, students. PET. Don't forget the word PET. That was where I was. PET, okay? P is patience. E is endurance. And T is tolerance. P is patience, E is endurance, and T is tolerance. If you have those three, you will pass anything in this world. Nothing in this world can get you stuck. If you are patient, you are enduring, and you are tolerant. Those are the final words of maturity and success. You will fly faster than a rocket. If you have patience, you have endurance, you have tolerance. So patience, endurance, tolerance, P-E-T, okay? Remember those words. And for my students, you write it down. P-E-T, that should be your PET. Patience, endurance, tolerance, okay? So Master Singyung is dealing with tolerance right here. Guide stubborn people with tolerance. Some people have deeply rooted bad habits and refuse any guidance from others. We cannot ignore or give up on them. There was once an incorrigible fellow living in a Chan monastery. Okay, what the Japanese call the Zen. Okay, Chinese call it the Chan. Okay, Chan monastery, Zen monastery. The rest of the practitioners wanted to evict him, but the monk in charge said, if we throw him out of this monastery, people in society will be hurt. Okay? When even a monastery cannot get him to improve, where can he go to change his ways? Therefore, when faced with corrupt people, we should tolerate them and guide them with compassion. When shame arises in them, they will change for the better. Okay? So again, you can see the pet working here. Patience, endurance, and tolerance. Okay? So now, Master Singyung summarizes, as the Buddha always does in enlightenment. He summarizes so that you can get the point of what we've been talking about. In dealing with people, we cannot just choose those who are good, who are kind, or who are righteous. And we should not reject those who have bad habits and unwholesome behavior. Instead, we have to treat others the way we want to be treated and place the same demands on ourselves as we do on others. With this kind of tolerance, we will not find anyone too difficult to handle, nor any matter too hard to accomplish. So Master Singyung is drilling you here and giving you the discipline of how to deal with difficult human beings. Some of you find them at jobs. Some may be living with tough spouses. Hard to deal with husband or wife. All these are children. So Master Singyung he emphasizes this, which I expand into my pet idea of patience, endurance, and tolerance. If you always have these diamonds in your hand, fingertips, patience, endurance, you always think like that. It will be so nice. You'll be able to deal with a lot more problems, solve a lot more problems. You become a bigger person, much bigger person. If you are patient, you are enduring, and you are tolerant. Those three words will help you to sprint forward and be, at the top, of the 7 billion people we have in the world. You have to always find your place amongst humanity. Capacity to solve problems. How much patience, how much endurance, tolerance. You should be very patient. These things are cultivated. That's why Buddha says you should sit in meditation every day, practice meditation every day, so you can develop these good qualities. They will help you to make progress in life and to achieve the success you desire. A word is enough for the wise. Namo Amitofo.